What does it mean to chase opportunity when every step forward comes with a sacrifice? In New York City, that question isn't abstract. It's the daily math of parenting, groceries or rent, a shift at work or a seat at circle time, the paycheck you need or the presence your child deserves. It's the same story told 1,000 different ways across the city. Some parents choose longer hours. Others choose shorter paychecks. Some choose to stay at home, even when they can't afford to. Each decision feels temporary, until it isn't. Each trade-off leaves a mark. And sometimes behind that choice is a parent trying to build a better life, not just for themselves, but for their children. Today, we meet one of those parents, a first-generation New Yorker, a mother of two living in Inwood. Like thousands of families across the city, she's building a life in the narrow space between what it costs to care and what it pays to work.
I was worried because I wasn't able to give him that experience of a childcare because had to stay home, and not work full time because I couldn't afford the daycare. I had to work part time, and the days that I will end up having to work, it's coming out of pocket. You have to pay for the daycare, and it's already putting a lot of pressure on the budget that you already had.
This is a story about routine and resilience, block towers and Head Start, jazz on Wednesdays, and a decision no parent should have to make. I'm Corey Winter on This Robin Hood Moment, and this is Marlyn's story. When Marlyn came to New York from the Dominican Republic, she was just 10 years old, expecting the America she'd seen in movies.
Like I said, I came 15 years ago. I was 10 years old when I came in from the Dominican Republic, no English. I thought that New York looked like the Home Alone movie where it was only houses. So when I was met with all those buildings, I was like, where am I? Where am I going? And it was a real culture shock, but definitely since I was staying in a Hispanic community, it was a good transition for me.
She never left. Inwood became home, Spanish in the markets, familiar food on every shelf, and neighbors who knew your story without you having to explain it.
I feel like I can go to the supermarket and I can see stuff that I actually used to eat back home. Definitely the language, you could speak more, with your accent. People don't look at you like you're crazy. And it's more of a trust, like you know your neighbor because they probably from your neighborhood back in your country. So it's pretty good like that.
Years later, she became a mom. First came Salim, and then Stella. And suddenly, New York's relentless energy collided with the stillness of early motherhood. When we sat down, what weighed most on her mind wasn't rent or work. It was her son's silence.
So I was a bit concerned with my child, Celine, my son, development. I felt like he was a little delayed since he didn't have any friends. He was like, I was first time mom and I was always stuck at home and I kind of wanted him to interact more with children. And I wasn't really in a position where I afford daycare, so I couldn't send him.
That's when she found Children's Aid.
And I started looking around for programs. I had mentioned to my WIC program that I was interested to having my children, socialize with more kids. And they recommended Children's Aid to take a look at it and see if I liked the program. I went online. I saw their programs like their home center and their center base. And I loved it. I did the application, and Gina got in contact with me right away. And from there on, it was a instant, hit.
That reminds me of something Phoebe Boyer, who leads Children's Aid, once told me. A mother is only as happy as her unhappiest child. And sitting across from Marlyn, I could see exactly what Phoebe meant.
if I'm home and I'm stuck with the children and we're not doing anything, we're not having no activities, and it's kind of like a cycle of like you're cleaning up after your kids, it kind of just drains on you and it puts you in a bad mood, and you're going to be in a bad mood. Your children are going to be cranky, definitely. And for me to have him go out there, interact more in the classroom with his teacher, following the curriculum at Children's Aid, it was like it lifted like something from me where it's like I also feel like I'm interacting. I'm also doing something outside of my routine at home that's making me happy, that's making me interact, is making me feel like I'm not only, doing the routine and the back and forth with the kid. So it was really good for him, for the both of us, actually.
Each morning, she watched him step into a world that invited him to explore finger paints, Play Doh, dinosaurs, and a rainbow of crayons. For the first time, her son wasn't just cared for, he was curious.
He loves coloring, so he has his own little box of crayons where he just comes straight away. He doesn't even say bye bye anymore. He's just okay. I mean, I'm in my zone. He goes straight to his crayons and she just starts drawing. So that makes me really happy because I know that home, we kind of restrict them because you don't want them writing on the walls. So you're like, oh no, you can, or you take the crayons away. But there, he's comfortable. He feels like he could come in and he could do his own thing. So that makes me really happy.
At home, those crayons sometimes ended up on the walls, but in the classroom, they gave him confidence, a space that said, "You belong here." And that stability matters. Robin Hood's poverty tracker shows that when parents lose jobs or income, children often struggle socially. During the pandemic, about 1 in 3 young children in New York City lived in a household where parents stopped working, and the ripple effects still show up today. For Marlyn, finding children's aid meant those ripples didn't become waves. If you live in New York, sometimes the budget makes the decision for you.
If to live in New York, you have to have a full-time job. If you want to afford your rent, if you want to afford your expenses, your groceries, you have to bring in enough income to cover all those. But and if you're working too much, then you know that childcare comes in. And we unfortunately we're not able to do that. We weren't able to work full time and also have childcare.
For Marlyn's family, that meant scaling back.
So we had to come to the difficult decision where it's like one parent had to stay home or had to work less. In my case, I was not able to work full time because I wasn't able to afford the daycare. Also, because I'm working full time, it's becoming more expensive. So I had to definitely work a part time, so I could be home with Celine and the baby because 2 kids at daycare in New York City, it's a lot of money.
That impossible math isn't unique to her. Across the city, families, especially mothers, face trade offs between earning a paycheck and being present. And according to the Robin Hood Poverty Tracker, when those trade offs tilt toward job loss or instability, kids in 2 parent households are more likely to develop peer challenges. That data tells us what Marlyn already knows firsthand. When parents struggle, children feel it too. Rent due on the first, groceries up again, and the steepest cost of all, missing your childhood.
You don't want to miss out all those little moments. So it's basically like a balance where it's like, do I go to work? Do I work 40 plus hours a week? Or do I stay home and only work 15, 30 hours or whatever it is so I could provide, enough quality time for my child?
She told me she grew up watching her own mother work those long hours. Marlyn wants a different memory for her kids.
So as I was raised, seeing my mom all the time working, like I'm telling you, I will go to school. We will see each other in the morning. Hi, how are you? I'll take you to school, and then I'll see you at nighttime, and that's it. So growing up to having to do that, and I having to understand that it's not because she doesn't want to spend time with me or she doesn't want to be home. It's a necessity. She needs to do that. So growing up and seeing that, I'm like, I realize I don't want to feel like my kids need to just see me in the day and see me in the night and that's it. And I really, really decided like, hey, I know how difficult it is. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a tight budget. There's gonna be stuff that we are gonna have to miss out, but I'm gonna be here present for them so they can remember, like, "Oh, my mom was there when she dropped me off, to school, and she was there to pick me up, and she was there afterwards and for dinner time." So definitely, it's a sense of, like, how you grow up and what you wanna give what was missing for you that you wanna give to your children.
Parenting is logistics and formation, the schedules and the stories we pass down. And those stories are harder to shape when poverty keeps parents locked in survival mode. That's why the poverty tracker data on child well being matters. Children's emotional and behavioral health is deeply connected to their parents' financial stability.
If I was a crystal ball and I was able to see the future, I'm hoping to see them to follow their dreams, in the sense where it's like you're gonna have hardship in your life. There's gonna times where you're gonna have financial needs, but you are able to have those resources there and have and feel like you can suppress that. You can move forward. Don't feel like you're gonna stay in the same spot and that you have that support with you. I hope that in the future they do understand that I'm a support just like then, for them all the time. And yeah.
She doesn't have crazy, outlandish dreams for her children, but she does dream of raising good humans and living in a city that backs families early enough to make that possible.
Everywhere that I would go, they would say, "Your child needs to be 3 and up, 3 and up." And I'm like, "What is he supposed to do from ages 1 to 2?" So for me to find out, I feel like Children Aid is the only program aside from daycares where you're paying out of pocket, is the only program where they take them so very young and help them in every step, every checkup, every 2 months, every milestone. They're the only place in New York, I feel, I don't know if there's more, but that I was able to access, with my budget, with my within my community, that we're able to assist you with your 1-year-old, your 2-year-old, and so on, because they continue from 3 to kindergarten, I believe, and even more.
I found myself nodding because she's right. Early childhood is where we tilt the future. Too often, we tell parents, you're on your own for the first 3 years. That's not policy, that's abandonment. Children's Aid refused to abandon her and opened doors she didn't expect.
They give you all the opportunities for, like, at least my teachers, they give you opportunity to look into, like, jobs. They always recommend that for parents. They give you the opportunity to look into education. They definitely help you with that. So they give you the opportunity for your children, if they are unable to go to the dentist, they bring NYU to the schools of dentistry, and you're able to get them checked up there. So children say definitely have a wide range of opportunities, and they're always there. They have opportunity for mental health. They have social workers, I believe, and they have that help you. So if you're a postpartum parent, if you need someone to talk to, they definitely have that person in school that you can come into and talk to them. And it's really good. It's like they're trying to help you in every area of your life.
When safety net institutions are resourced, they don't just help, they lower the cost of choice. Every parent remembers the first drop off. Will they cry or will you?
So I was really nervous, and I kept telling his teacher, like, I understand if I have to pick him up early, he could be a little, cranky. I don't know how he's gonna react, and he might be the one that's gonna try to, like, mess with all the toys. She's like, "Don't worry, just leave him here. He'll start good." When I went to the parent orientation before I started, I kind of warned her, like, Celine can be a little silly sometimes. Um, she's like, "Don't worry, I'm used to this. I got it." So when I first dropped him off, like, I was walking and I kept saying, "Oh my God, Celine, like, let me take a picture of your first day of school, or let me, you know." Uh, and he kind of walked into the classroom and all the kids were crying, and he just looked at them like, "What's wrong with them?" And he didn't cry. He didn't cry. I was so scared, and I signed him out. The teacher was like, "Oh, it's a fast transition. We're gonna have parents. We're gonna have them here the full day." And I was like, "Oh, man, I'm nervous. I'm gonna text her every hour. Is he okay? Is he okay?" She's like, "He was one of the best kids. He was normal. He didn't cry." And I was like, "I don't believe you." She's like, "Yes, he cleans up." And I'm like, "You will have to record him for me to believe you." She actually did. He picked up his milk, he put it in the trash and everything. I'm like, "Who is this kid? I don't know this kid."
Hearing her laugh, I thought about how many New York parents never get to experience that simple relief. Sometimes the miracle isn't a windfall, it's a cleanup song that works, a child who feels safe enough to stay.
Moms are great, but teachers are even better. I don't know. I give them all the props.
Before we wrapped, I asked what she'd say to other parents trying to navigate the same maze.
I would want for them to know that there's there's always that resource there. Advocate for your child, for yourself, for their education, for their safety, because the programs are there. They might be getting cut off, and if you advocate for them, they're gonna be there for you. Um, if don't let no language barrier, financial barrier keep you away from these programs for your children. A lot of people might think that because they don't speak English, that they're not able to participate in these programs. I want them to know that you can. There will be someone there to help you through the way. There will be teachers who you identified with, to parents, to postpartum moms. I also want them to know, if you feel like you're stuck at home with the baby, this is the perfect program for you where you get to interact with other moms, other parents. You're not alone. You will find a community within Children's Aid. I definitely have. And the best thing as a mom is to be able to share experiences or share memories with other moms where you both can go like, "Oh, I wasn't crazy." It's part of motherhood. And in a city where everything moves fast, you want to take it slow, step by step with your kids. Definitely.
And to the city?
The need is there for mothers and parents. The need is there. Is there. And the resource is there. It's all about just expanding it and helping it reach those areas, those communities that need it the most. It's not only, one community that needs this. Is many, 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 and many more places. New York is huge. Come on, New York City. This is the program that every parent needs. So
The poverty tracker shows that when parents lose jobs, when safety nets shrink, children feel the aftershocks in their friendships, in their classrooms, in their sense of security. But when families like Marlyn's get support early, through Head Start, Early Head Start, or programs like Children's Aid, those outcomes improve. The cost of choice is real, but it isn't fixed. We can lower it with investment with partners like Children's Aid and with policies that treat early childhood as infrastructure, not an afterthought. Thanks for spending time with us on this special bonus episode of This Robin Hood Moment. If you'd like to hear the bigger picture behind Marlyn's story, listen to the companion episode, What Future Can You Give Your Child? In that conversation, our hosts Kevin Thompson and Crystal Cooper talk with Children's Aid President and CEO Phoebe Boyer about the impossible trade-offs parents face in New York City and what it would take to make raising a child here just a little easier. I'm Corey Winter. My thanks to Kevin and Crystal for their editorial support and to Mary Power for the visuals that help bring these stories to life. But mostly, I want to thank Marlyn for her openness, her laughter, and her reminder that love and stability are every child's first teachers. Thanks for listening and for being part of this moment.